Rotimi is my G. There's no form of.
G, don't friend zone any man until found otherwise. So yes.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ope, and if you're just joining us for the first time, welcome. Come in. Well, this week I have asked questions on my social media that I'm about to film a Q&A, and if you want to ask me any question, just DM me or leave it in the comments. So I got some questions from my Instagram, my Snapchat, and I think in my DM. So that's what we're going to do today. So if you just want to watch and hear me answer questions, I've had questions about everything from relationships to faith to business to makeup, several things. So come with me, let's have fun. It's going to be a chit chat. Get ready with me and I'll be answering those questions. I'm going to be freestyling because I really don't know what I want to create. So I'm going in with my Venus palette. You guys know this palette. So the first question is from the Sugar Maker on Instagram. She asks, can we have your entire gospel playlist? The thing is, my most favorite gospel songs, I'm not even allowed to use them on YouTube. I wish I could actually give you guys my gospel playlist because I have over 1,000 songs on my laptop and even way more on personal YouTube playlist. But the thing is that I don't know how I'm going to get it over to you because I can't even play them in my videos. Most of my favorite songs, I can't play them in my videos because they have copyrights. Better still, I'm going to put the links to some of my favorite gospel channels in the description box, so that way you can have access to at least some of my favorites. Number 2 question is from _BT. She said, how did you start makeup? How did I start makeup? I actually started makeup from basically stealing my mother's makeup when I was in primary school, but then obviously that doesn't count, so I'm just going to give you the lowdown. In 2008, I was waiting to get into uni, and my sister's from Bidunamis, she paid for my what will I call it now? Then House of Tara was like the only makeup school. In 2008, she was having this one-day workshop thing. That was where I went to my makeup school. So my first makeup knowledge that was official was from that. But then after that, I think uni just took over, so I just forgot about, or not forget, I just left it. Like it wasn't something I wanted to do because I had to face my studies. So I guess that was that. Time went on. I used to do my friends' makeup in school. It just started from there. I really don't know how to say okay I started, but then it was during my masters I took it seriously. So that was 2015. I just decided that, you know what, I am going to do this and nothing is going to stop me. Let's just say I started professionally 2015. This question is from Adon by Atolani. She says, were you ever scared to show off your craft at the beginning? PS, I love you, the way you apply makeup so flawlessly on your clients. Oh, thank you. Was I scared, fam? I'm still scared till today. That thing. I don't think you can ever outgrow the fear. At the beginning, yes, I was, because I felt like I wasn't good enough, so I kept on looking for more knowledge. I kept on attending every masterclass. But then, yes, I was scared at the beginning. I'm still scared sometimes because I feel like makeup world is fast evolving. Everybody is just inventing one thing or the other, one style or the other, and if you're not careful, they're gonna leave you behind. So yeah, I was scared at the beginning, but then I'm trying to overcome my fear now. As you grow and you begin to get confident in what you're doing and in your craft, you'd stop being fearful. Olabens asks, what's your take on finding the right partner and late or early marriage, before and after 30? Hey, please, I'm not a wedding, I'll be marriage counselor to somebody, but seeing as I am going to be 28, I don't know, and I'm single, so I don't know where I'm supposed to answer you from. But then I'm going to just answer you from my own perspective, and as a Christian, I don't think you should be in a hurry to find the right partner, because you don't want to go and enter one chance. It's very easy for Nigerians to put pressure on single women. Oh, where's your husband? Oh, when are you bringing that man home? All these long questions that they're always asking. But please don't let anybody put you under pressure. Even the Bible, I think it was Psalm 68 verse 6, it said God settled the solitary in families. It basically means no matter how single you are, God is still going to find you a family. You're going to be set up in your own family. So I really don't know, if you have that confidence in your heart that God is going to find you the right partner, then you serve God and enjoy your singlehood until the right partner comes along, I guess. There's no timeline. There's one thing that Eda Lindsay says, I think it's even Papa that said it, Bishop Oyedepo. It's like, if your father is the author of time, why are you giving yourself headache? Because they always say, oh, women, your biological clock is ticking what? If my God is the one that created biological time, even spiritual time too, why am I not giving myself undue pressure? Did they say that if you don't marry by 30, the world will end? No. I'll say eventually, my view is that just enjoy your life. When the right man comes, if you've decided in your heart, like I have, that I'm not going to spend my days dating randoms and you're going to keep yourself holy for God, then just believe that God is going to find the right man to find you. I hope that answers your question and your dilemma. So 30 years old, 31 years old, there's no hurry. Chiwendu says, why are you you so fabulous. Girl, thank you. It's the grace of God. I don't know why I'm fabulous. I'm fabulous because my father is fabulous. The creator of heaven and earth is fabulous. Faye Makish says, what products do you use to create a matte face, oil free, no sweat all day long? Except if you're trying to do magic. I don't know how that is possible, but then I'm going to share my own tips and tricks with you. If you're someone that has oily face, let's say you're doing a bride now and she has extremely oily face, you have to go in with the prepping of her face. So you have to first start by, if you don't want her to sweat, there's this sweat proof, there's a sweat proof thing that you can use, even though it's not advisable to use it for like an everyday thing. So it's probably suitable for brides and your clients that you know they're going to have a long day at parties or something, but for personal use I don't advise it though. So you can use the sweat proof. So let me tell you my own routine if I want someone to have a long lasting sweat proof, oil free, even though I know that's really not feasible. So the first thing I do is I use the sweat block thing. I think, yeah, it's from Meron, the one I use. So you can use that first. It kind of blocks the pores and it tightens the face. Then I go in with an oil-free moisturizer. Okay, then you prime. You go in with good primers. You cannot expect an oil-free long-lasting makeup without good primers. When I mean good, I mean like they're not cheap. The primers I use, maybe sometimes I use Becca, sometimes I use Pond's, but I'm not really a fan of Pond's because there's plenty fake of it. For the inexpensive people that can't afford the 27 or 22,000 naira Becca, you can use Pond's. After that, after prepping her face and priming and doing all those things, I seal it up with translucent powder. So you can use a translucent powder maybe from Beauty by AD. They are lucent loose powder. So before you go in on your foundation, so you've done your sweat stop, you've done your oil-free moisturizer, you've done your priming, then you now go in with a setting powder. When you do that, your makeup is going to stay long. Then you go in with a matte foundation. Obviously you cannot expect someone that has oily face and then you're going in with an oil-based foundation. Could it work? I think all this will make it stay. And then before you go in with your highlighting and contouring, you can then go in with a translucent powder again. Just, you know, you have to build the foundation very strongly. I guess that's the answer. Just try it, and please always try things on yourself first before you go and do it on brides. So don't go and spoil their day. Try it out, wear it for the whole day. If your makeup does not fall, then you know that it's a good thing. Debbie says, Sisi Okpe, what are your favorite makeup brushes? I love you. I love you too, girl. My favorite makeup brushes, if I talk where I used to buy my brushes now, you will just be looking at me. Let me just give you guys grades. Internationally, I know Morphe brushes are really good, so you can start with Morphe brushes. But if you cannot start ordering from their abroad, I know that Nuban and Oshewa Beauty, they have good brushes, even though I have not tried them yet, so I really can't vouch for them 100%, but I know that they have good brushes. But my own brushes, I buy my brushes everywhere. I have brushes I bought in singles. I buy them maybe from AliExpress. I buy brushes from Superdrug when I was in the UK. Okay, Hega and Esther also has good brushes. This is one of my favorite brushes. BH Cosmetics has good brushes, but you can check AliExpress too. To be honest, I will not lie to you, I buy most of my brushes on AliExpress because they are good. Once you can identify what a synthetic brush is and one that is really good, then AliExpress has the answer. All my blending brushes, most of them are from AliExpress, and I don't have any issues with them. What moisturizer would you recommend for the face? For someone that has dry skin, this moisturizer is pretty good. Or Nivea. I used to use Nivea for a very long time. This is very, very pricey in Nigeria. It's like 11 to 14,000 naira, so it's pricey. You can use Nivea if you have dry skin. There's Nivea for dry skin. If you're doing it professionally, because some people, the way they sweat is different. Me, I don't sweat a lot and I have dry skin, so Nivea is okay. But if you're using someone that probably sweats a lot, I don't think Nivea is advisable. So you can get this. There's a smaller tube. So Cetaphil oil control moisturizer. This is what I use, and it also helps if you have acne. It has sunscreen, so I feel like this is your best bet. Next question is from Tosin Toki. Hi girl. She says, I know makeup is what you love to do, but I want to know how you were able to decide and convince yourself that it was makeup artistry you wanted to do full-time instead of doing a part-time and maybe an office job. By the way, I love you and your work. I hope to meet you someday. I also miss you too. Thank you. This question is a very serious question. Let me just tell you now. Before I went for masters, I worked in a consulting firm on the island, and I live on the mainland. I worked for 7 months. During my NYSC, I was doing ghost copper in my local government, and then I got a real job because I really wanted to see how it felt. I was miserable. In fact, miserable. I was miserable. Like, I hated every single day. Like, I will not lie to you. Sorry if anybody from my office is watching. But I did not like my job. I don't know why. It was a consulting firm. Everything was so bish. You know, when I was in school, I had this vision in my mind of being that working class white collar girl. Like, I wear like all these TM shirts with a nice skirt and heels. That was the dream. That was the vision and everything I had for myself. But When I tried that office for 7 months, oh my god, I said this cannot happen. No, I cannot do this. I resigned. I ran away. I told them, they've given me my visa. I'm going for masters tomorrow. I just lied. I wasn't leaving Nigeria till September. I resigned in June because I just could not take it anymore. I think after experiencing that, and I just knew that I could work, and I knew I also had passion for makeup. And when I was in school, I used to do makeup for all my friends. I had the biggest makeup kit. Like everybody used to come to me for dinners and everything. So makeup was already there. Makeup has always been there. I just did not say, okay, this is my job. So when I went for masters, I guess that's where I just like, you know what, okay, is either this or you go and work when you get back to Nigeria. It took a long time to convince my father to allow me to do makeup. When I got back from masters, my father would tell me, okay, go and fix your CV, apply for that FIRS job, apply for social job, apply for this job, apply for that job. I'll be miserable, I'll be crying. I used to call my friends, join me in prayer. We'll pray, because I just knew that I cannot do this 9 to 5 thing. It wasn't like I was making money or anything, but I just knew that I cannot just do the work. So I guess I just said, you know what, if I'm going to do this makeup thing, I better just face my front and do it well. So then my dad will be saying, have you gotten a job? I'm like, don't worry. As he's talking about job, I'm carrying my makeup box to go and shoot somewhere. I guess when he started seeing my works and he started seeing pictures on Facebook, and I don't know, he had this confidence that, okay, maybe this girl knows what she's doing. Once I got the approval of my dad and it wasn't like on my throat to go and get a job anymore, I guess I just said, okay, maybe this is it. And I started getting clients who started seeing my jobs. I started getting followers. I started getting reposted, and I just found peace in myself. So I guess that's how I knew I was going to do makeup fully. Dainty/makeup, I love your name. She says, please, what kind of foundation do you use? Because I don't have oily skin, but I sweat when doing my makeup. It's interesting how I always get it right with my clients though. Girl, I know what you mean. Fam, if you know how many minutes it took me to draw these brows, you think maybe it's not me that used to draw the brows on my YouTube and on my Instagram. So foundation for myself, I have dry skin, but I use Fenty Beauty. I know it's not easy to get, but I'm about to use Zaron now, so I can say Zaron is good. So one thing I do is that I know I have dry skin, yeah, so I go, if I'm using any matte foundation, I go in with a hydrating primer and a hydrating moisturizer. You know that, okay, the foundation is matte, but it won't affect your makeup all day. It won't crack or anything. So that's that. You can try that. So you can try Zaron. Their Healthy Glow foundation is good. I know Hega and Esther is good, so I used it for a very long time too. I have it in my kit, so you can try Hega and Esther too. I know their foundation is not matte, it's really like glowy and dewy, so you can try that on yourself. Another foundation that is good for dry skin is L'Oreal True Match foundation. It doesn't dry matte, it's really glowy and nice, so you can try that one too. If you have dry skin, those are those foundations I mentioned will really help you. Hey Jesus, this question will not kill me. So Adenuga Moyosore asks, my question is, can you gift me a ring light? I know this sounds crazy, but it will surely bless me. I wish I had the money to send you a ring light, but let's see, God can perform a miracle. So if the miracle happens, you'll get a ring light. So until then, girl, let's just learn to use natural lights. Don't worry, when I have the money, I have you at the back of my mind. So Skybell asked me, what settings do I use for my camera, and I should tell her the lighting I use. That question is very relative because I can't really tell you my lighting, my settings, because my settings vary depending on where I'm shooting. So let's say I'm shooting in my studio. I don't have a window in my studio, so I have to use artificial lighting. So I use 2 ring lights for pictures, sometimes 1 ring light. So that's that. Then my settings, I just increase or decrease my ISO and aperture depending on, I really can't tell you, okay, I use ISO 400, I use so 4.5. Me telling you my camera setting really does not make sense. It's because I'm always changing it depending on if I have too much light or little light. But for my lighting, I can tell you that I use 2 ring lights and 2 soft boxes if I'm shooting for YouTube. Zichop says, how do you balance your spiritual life with your social life? Like I said, I'm not really a social person. Well, let me not say I'm not a social person, but I don't really go out to parties or anything. Okay, I'm going to answer this question as a Christian and a born-again Christian. You can never find me in the club. I used to go clubbing when I was in CU. I went like 4 times in my whole life. So, and it's not my kind of crowd, so I'm not really comfortable with it. Let's just say where you know that the grace of God does not cover you, you should not be there. So that's my own perspective. I really don't know what other people feel or what they think, so I really can't speak for any other person. Do you understand? That is me as a person. You won't find me at all those social gatherings in quotes. But then how do I balance? I feel like I know who I am and I feel like external factors really don't affect me that much. They can easily influence you, but they don't affect me in a negative way. Do you understand? So I don't put myself in spaces that I can easily get influenced by what I know is not healthy or helpful to my spiritual life. So that is how I try my best to stay in spaces where I don't frustrate the grace of God on my life. Let me just put it that way. This is by Sandra Chocho. This girl is a G. She's one of my day ones. So her question is pretty long, so I'm just going to read it out to you guys. So she says, hi Sisi Okwe, first off, you know how much I admire you. Oh, thank you, like a million. And then she says, spreading the gospel some way somehow through your videos is inspiring. Thank you, I try my best. Glory to God. And then she says, my questions are: number one, how do you keep a high spirit and positive faith when business isn't booming as per normal? I know it's hard, and sometimes I start to think beyond. I know God is in control, but the sad thoughts of being stagnant take over. Girl, I just want to know, in times like those, how do you keep a positive spirit? I'll try and answer, because I have been in these shoes a lot of times. I just always know that it's a temporary thing. I think that you need to start from there. Your business is not going to be stagnant forever. God forbid such. Every time I get overwhelmed and I feel like, oh, I'm not doing anything, I'm not getting clients, stuff like that, I just take a break. To be honest, I take a break, I step back, and I reevaluate. I try to get inspired again. Obviously, you know that our work, based as per makeup artists, people book us based on what they see. Meaning, if they don't see you churning out different things, nobody is going to book you eventually. I take a step back, and every time I feel overwhelmed, I just try and create something else. If I see like maybe I'm not booking enough brides, I go in and I do bridal shoots. I try and collaborate with other people, and then I just put out work. I just make sure people see that, okay, I'm able to do this thing, so why don't you just book me? And there's times when, fam, you just have to just wait. I know it might seem impractical, because maybe that's your full source of income, but there's nothing you can do. You cannot go and put a gun to people's heads in their house to come and book you. So you have no choice than to just wait. And I don't mean wait as in just sit down in the morning, wake up and just be eating and just wait, say, okay, I'm waiting for bookment. No, not that kind of wait. Wait as in be active but still wait. If you let the feelings overwhelm you, you feel like you're not good enough, or you're not doing something good, and people are not just seeing your work. So I don't let it overwhelm me. Let me just put it that way. Sometimes you think, oh my God, time is going, I'm not moving, I'm not achieving anything. After I finish that self-pity and I feel like, okay, it's time to move on with my life, wait it out, and when you're done, start working again. Dust yourself up. You already said it, that you feel like, you know that God is in control. So if you believe that God is in control, and the Bible says that we cannot ask our Father for bread and He'll give us stone, so just believe that God is going to provide you with your own clients. And you see, the sky isn't big enough for everybody to fly. Create content. Don't just wait for those clients. Create content, things that would make them come to you, see your work, and then book you. Put yourself out there, collaborate with other people. It's not everyday money. When money is not coming, create content that will actually eventually bring money your way. Then number 2, she says, please share business saving tips. Lol, it's hard to save here, help me. Babes, you're asking the wrong person, to be honest. My sister is still trying to force me to save more. To be honest, I don't even know what advice to give you concerning saving, because I'm not really a good saving person myself. But then I feel like I'm learning now, because I have been in a place where I have spent my money on frivolous things, and eventually I don't have money to do the most important things. That just happened to me recently, and it has put me in a space where I know that you are seeing people moving from studio to studio, buying houses, buying cars. This is from their work. I'm not talking about people that are getting it as gifts. It's because they saved. If you really want good things for yourself, I feel like you should. There's this financial tip I learned. I think it was from one of the TFD series I went for. When Mrs. Ibukwa Oshika was saying, she said, if your income is 100% and you remove 10%, you remove 10 or 20% salary for yourself, save the remaining, let's say 70, just save it. If you feel like that's not feasible, you know what your expenses are. Maybe you're paying for rent, paying for all those things. Remove those money, and maybe you just say that, okay, out of every income I make, I am going to save 30% on an account where I don't have an ATM, I don't have a withdrawal slip, I don't have anything. It's just going in there. So you can do that. So maybe out of your 100%, so give your tithes, remove salary, pay yourself, please. Because if you don't pay yourself, you begin to mix your business money with your personal money. Do you understand? You're like, okay, I don't have money to buy this dress, I'll take from whatever accounts that's supposed to be for business. Well, just know that, decide in your mind that every money that comes your way, you save 30%. Whether you like it or not, 30% has to go into a savings account. So that can help you. So she said, lastly, you being you, free-spirited and funny, a beautiful soul. Oh, thank you. What's your advice to struggling business women out there? I hope my questions make it to the video. I am a Sisi Okwe stan. I know, right? Thank you. In fact, my mission is for you to know my name, constantly spamming your comment section. I know your name already, Sarah. Oh, her name is Sarah, not Sandra. Sorry. My bad. Okay, so my advice to struggling business women, babes, is just a phase. It will pass. Like the Bible says, this too shall pass. Just know that it's just a phase, to be honest. No matter the struggles. There's this thing Anita Brown said in one of her Insta stories. She said, every time you feel overwhelmed, just take a step back. Nobody's going to put a gun to your head if you don't post for 1 week or even 1 month. If that's how long it takes for you to get your sanity back, then take the break, girl. Me, I take breaks. So there are times when I don't come to my studio for a whole week. If I'm not in a mental space to work, there's nothing, you cannot put a gun to my head to work. Do you understand? If your mind is not right, you cannot create anything beautiful. So just take a step back. Don't feel overwhelmed and just have me time. Do that and you'll be fine, okay? And may God remove struggles from our matter. Amen. This is Miss Lambo. She says, hello Sisi Ope, how do you hear from God and how did you start speaking in tongues? Where did you learn makeup? Which one will I answer first? Okay, let's start from the first question, obviously. How do you hear from God? Okay, I'm going to talk about my own personal experience. The way I hear from God is me having an inclination in my spirit. I don't know if that makes any sense. Even though I pray to reach that point, I have never heard all these people that say, okay, I hear God like, oh, do this, my son, that kind of dramatic, Abrahamic hearing. I don't have that yet. I feel like I heard you. Obviously, the Holy Spirit, the God the Father, God the Spirit, and God the Son is one. I've not had that audible like hearing, but then I have, like I feel like the Holy Spirit speaks to me more. So the Holy Spirit is God. So yeah, I just hear it in my mind. They always say this thing that God does not shout. Like when God is speaking to you, he does not say, don't do that though, I'm warning you now. No, God does not speak to you that way. Or at least he doesn't speak to me that way. I'll give you an example. One time like that, I was in school and the weather obviously stated that there was no rain that day. Like it was sunny. And when I was doing masters, it was sunny. And then the Holy Spirit told me in my mind, okay, just take an umbrella. And I'm like, umbrella, weather apple, so there's no rain. Why am I holding umbrella and just give myself stress? My load is already plenty. I'm carrying laptop, carrying books, all these long things. My mind kept on telling me, okay, take that umbrella, put it in your bag. I did not answer. When the rain started, oh Jesus, it was horrible. I was left in the bus stop. The rain was so horrible that day. Like I regretted, and a voice came to me, I told you. Every time I don't listen to him, I always get that I told you. Why do you pray so often that God, I want to hear you, and when you actually hear God, you don't listen? So I'm pretty sure that there are times you've had that inclination in your spirit or a tugging in your spirit and something is just telling you, this is it, don't do this, or I think you should do this. That is actually how I hear from God. I don't hear the audible, but then I guess it's very easy. Just ask God that you want to hear him. There's this saying, I don't remember who said it, but I've heard it from several people that said that hearing from God is like hearing from your friend. If you don't have a relationship with God, you can't hear from God. It's very simple. There are people that hear God like I'm hearing my assistant that's sitting beside me. People hear God like that. If I'm sleeping now and I hear Faith's voice, I know her voice. It's just like you knowing maybe your best friend. You know her voice. It's very easy. But if you don't know someone and if you hear a stranger's voice, I can't say, okay, I'm sleeping and I hear a stranger's voice and I'm like, oh, that is a stranger's voice. The stranger is a black tall man. You can't just guess. It really is not. It doesn't make sense. You get. So I guess it's just learning to spend time with God more. By that way, you have a relationship with him and then you can differentiate his voice from the many in your mind. And then she says, how did you start speaking in tongues? I think I got the gift of speaking in tongues. It was in 200 level. So that's 2010. I was in CU, Covenant University, and it's a thing in Covenant University. Like if you get baptized in the spirit, if you get baptized in water, you get baptized in the spirit. I don't know how it's done in other establishments or other churches, but that's how it happened to me. And we just had this service, like if you just gave your life to Christ and you just want to experience God in the gift of speaking in tongues, you just had to crave it, to be honest. I had a friend, I met her during my masters, and every time we prayed together and she's like, oh, I want to be able to speak in tongues. When they asked us to speak in the Holy Spirit and she's praying in English. Even when I was in CU, so I had a friend like that. I guess one day she just messaged me, oh, okay, I can speak in tongues now. Like you cannot just say, okay, I baptize you, start speaking in tongues. I know it happens to some people like that. It's very direct, but I guess it just started, to be honest. It's just like a baby that drinks milk and then you begin to develop and you start eating meat. I think that's how it is. That's, to my own best knowledge, that's how it is. So you just have to tell the Holy Spirit you want to be able to speak in tongues, I guess. I cannot tell you, okay, I read so book and I was able to speak in tongues or something. It just happened. Then she says, where did you learn makeup? I learned makeup everywhere, but then I'll just be direct to you. I'll give you a direct answer. My first makeup, where I went to makeup, like not the first knowledge I got of makeup was in House of Tara in 2008. After that, I gave up makeup for a very long time. But then when I picked up makeup back, the first person I learned makeup from was from YouTube, or the first platform was online. Do you understand? And then I went for Joy Adenuga. If you don't know Joy Adenuga, I don't know what you're doing. She's a makeup artist in the UK. I went to a makeup workshop and I learned very, 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 very valid things that I still use today. Do you understand? She's really good. So I learned from her first, and when I moved back to Nigeria, I went for an upgrade class with Oshewa. Oshewa is my G, she's my boss. Then I went to Flawless Faces by Jane. That's another person I really look up to. So I went to Flawless Faces by Jane's masterclass, a 2-day masterclass, and I have learned from so many things, but then I have tried my best to pull from a lot of people I admire to create my own style. So I guess that's that. So but those are the classes I went to. Most of the things I learned from experimenting, learning on the job, learning on YouTube. Those are the people I actually learned from. Williams, TJ's makeup. She says, good day Sisi Okpe, your videos have really helped. Thank you. There's this shadow I have been using and it always seems to fall off. What can I do? What do you mean by fall off? Does it flake off? I think that's what she means. I have eyeshadows like that, but then I think it depends on your priming. You have to use an eyeshadow primer that actually causes things to stick to it. So if you were to use a concealer and you know that eyeshadow drops, it falls off, you can't set the concealer before you put the eyeshadow, because then the powder is already, it's not tacky anymore, like it's not sticky, so whatever you're putting on it would not stick. If you're someone that uses concealer a lot, maybe you should stop using concealer and start using eyeshadow base, like eyeshadow primers. So I know House of Tara has something really good, so you can use House of Tara eyeshadow primer, so it sticks. So whatever you're putting, and when you're putting it, don't swipe. I think you should press in, like, I mean, don't over blend it, that way it will fall off. So I think you should stick or swipe. So it's either you press it in or you swipe it like downward, that way it causes it to stick a bit better. I think you should try that. That should work. She says, so do you advise we do more jobs and posts? Okay, so that's concerning Sarah's question. Yes, that's what I advise, to be honest. That's what I do, so I will say that's what I advise. Yes, you cannot expect people to book you when you're not working. There's nothing on your page and you're sitting down and you're saying you're a makeup artist, you're not getting bookings. You can't get bookings because there's nothing to show that you know what you're doing on your page. So yes, post more often. This is from Dora Cause on my Snapchat. How old is your natural hair? Oh, my natural hair is going to be 4 years in August, so August of this year. Miko says, hey Sisi Okpe, do you have any advice for someone starting a master's degree in September? Babe, wait, you actually did not state if you're starting your master's degree in Nigeria or abroad, so I'm just going to take it as abroad because that's where I did mine. So I'm going to share my own experience. So I'm going to break it down to your social life and your academics. From academics, I left things a bit too late. I used to do everything at the 100th hour. Like when I mean 100, I mean so fam, I used to leave all my assignments, all my courseworks, all my projects, everything till the last minute. I don't know why I had brought up that idea since I was in Nigeria, that it's not really that bad. See, if you carry the mentality of a Nigerian school to abroad, you're gonna fail. Don't leave everything till the last minute. If they give you assignment today, start it tomorrow. I used to leave mine till the last minute and it really cost me trouble. It cost me a lot because I've ended up not giving my 100% in everything. It showed in my result, obviously, even though I did not fail low. Please, for some of us I failed. But then don't leave everything till the last minute. That's that. Research on everything, from Google to the library to wherever else you think you can get information from, but just research. That's my advice. Then when it comes to social life, if you're schooling abroad, please find your Nigerian clique. For me, my Nigerian clique came from church, because obviously I'm not going to go and join the people that used to go and club all the time. I'm not judging. If that's your thing, then join them. But then I found the people that made my journey less miserable for me were the people in church. Do you understand? The friends. I joined my fellowship in school, so my church was a reading church and they had a fellowship in school, so I joined the student side and then I joined the choir. It really helped me find my people. Really cared about me. I was not just living a loner life because I didn't have anybody. Okay, I'm in a country, it's a strange place, so it helped me to find my bearing. I think you should do that. So find the Nigerian community. Do you understand? If you're schooling abroad, find the Nigerian community and do more. That's one thing I wished I did. I didn't do enough, and my 18 months just went by like that. When my friends were saying, okay, we're traveling, we're going to see the beach, I never did anything. I just sat down in my room and I watched Iroko TV all day and I ate. It was as if there's no food in my country. Yeah, I ate too much. So I feel like you should do more. If you're going out, go out with your friends, watch movies, explore, go on beaches, go on trips. Just do more, basically. I don't just sit at home. I sat at home for my almost 2 years and the year just went by. I wished I traveled more. I think that's my advice for you. And just pray. God can help you achieve anything. Pray, make friends, make international friends. Don't just sit down with the Nigerian community. That's another thing I did. I did not really explore other ethnicity. Let me put it that way. Do you understand? The Chinese, the Japanese, the Russians. I did not speak to anybody. I was just facing my Nigerian friend, and that does it. So I think you should just step out of your bubble a bit. So Debbie girl, Sisi, please, how do you deal with teary-eyed clients? I just had my first my first experience with a teary-eyed person. I was done with her makeup and I set her face with setting spray, and she was tearing up and laughing at the same time, and her tears made such a mess. I remember when someone asked Joy Adenuga when during her class that what does she do about teary eye, and she just said, just pray you don't have such clients. So I guess that's just the thing I'm going to. If someone is teary eyed, they're teary eyed. There's nothing you can do about it. And the thing is that once the tears drop on the certain parts, it's difficult to get off. So I guess you just have to let it dry. And then what I usually do is, if it falls and it's messing up the place, I just put concealer there again. I let the concealer get a bit dry, because if it's wet and you start blending it, it will start picking up powder away from under the eye, and it's going to just create a mess. Just let the place dry, then put a bit of concealer on that spot. Hopefully it has not come all the way down, but if it's just under the eye, put concealer there, let it dry a bit and set it. And this set is baking, like you're baking the place so that it dries up that point, do you understand? And then you dust it off. I think you should be okay. It will not look the same way as the other place, but it will not look messy. I think that's one thing you can do. Jemima, hi Jemima, she says, I have always wanted to ask you about faith. It's really hard for me, and it feels like the more I try, the more I fail, the more I fall. I try to read my Bible regularly, pray regularly. Basically, I keep falling back. Please, how do you do it? I'm just going to share my experience. Up till today, as I speak with you, I still have issues with pressing on my relationship with God. It's something that just happens. There are times when I just don't feel like praying. I don't feel like speaking in tongues. I don't feel like reading my Bible. I just go on social media and I just keep it moving. And we all have that dry patch in our spirituality. But then, even Paul in the Bible says he keeps pressing on. The whole point, relationship with God is a journey. It is not a destination. I hope you know that. It is a journey. They always say that once you fall in love with God so much, you would want to spend good and quality time with him. So just believe that God loves you, and it wants to hear you. It wants to hear from you. It's just like standing up from the bed and not speaking to your husband. It just does not make any sense. So I try my best. What I have come to do is that I decide that, okay, I am not going to open any social media until I read my Bible or until I spend time in devotion. Once you try that, you'd find it, even though at first it might feel like, oh my God, but then they always say that Papa used to say something, that there's a pain of discipline and there's a pain of regret. So once you go through the pain of discipline, you will never have the pain of regret. Decide in your mind that, okay, I have decided that I am going to spend time with God today. Whatever happens, if I don't spend time in the morning, I will spend time before I go to bed. Discipline yourself that you're going to spend time with God, and after that, it becomes something you just enjoy doing. There are times when what I do is that I just bring myself into that point of peace, and then I play gospel music and I just open my Bible. If you feel like praying in English can help you, pray in tongues if you can speak in the spirit, then just bask in God. To be honest, don't see it as a chore. I used to see it as a chore, like, oh, it's time for devotion. Oh my God. Don't see it that way. Once you start seeing that way, there's no love between you and God. You're just doing it so that, okay, it's religion, I just have to do it. But once you see it as, oh, I love God and I want to spend time with him, you'd enjoy it eventually, okay? And when it comes to falling off, I don't know if you mean falling off as in going back to sin. If that's what you mean, then you just have to decide in your mind that God loves me beyond this sin, and whatever it is. They always say that we should try our best to please God with everything we do. So if you know deep down in your mind that you love God and you don't want to hurt God's feelings, let's put it that way, you will not go back to sin. You just feel like, okay, God loves me and this is not pleasing him, so that you will not fall back. And even if you fall, pick up yourself and move on. It's not the end of the world. I hope I have answered your question to the best of my knowledge. So now I can finally speed up this makeup. I feel like I can't multitask when it comes to these questions. So someone is asking me, what do you love most in applying my makeup? My best part starts from once I apply the foundation. Once I apply the foundation, I get to see the person's clear canvas. Let me put it that way. You know, before foundation, there are blemishes here and there, but once you apply foundation, it just makes everything one color. So from highlighting to contouring to your glow, yeah, those are my best parts. But I'm trying to step out of my comfort zone, so yeah, let's do this. Not bad. This is something I'll never do anyways, but then you're very funny. I love watching your YouTube videos. Thank you. I try my best. You guys are seeing the real me, man. This is what my friends have to deal with. I actually had fun with this question and answer. If you want me to do more of this, please let me know. You can write the questions you intend on asking me in the comment section of this video, so I'll record it in another video, or you can ask me on my social media. You guys already know what my social media handles are. I will definitely answer, and I can record a 2.0 of this video. So, and if you've gotten this far and you've not subscribed, Why are you doing this? It's just like entering somebody's parlor and sitting down watching their television. That's just wrong. So kindly subscribe, okay? Please subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you for hanging out with me. I love you. Bye. Kisses.
Every song, every tribe,